ยังรำลึกไม่เรียนนั่งยังขานเรียนอยู่ให้ไงนั่งยังรำลึกไม่เรียนจากหันติไงในจำไงเก็บบนสำราญ public holiday ในក្នុងស្រុកខ្មែរផងហ្នឹងហើយចឹងញាតិញោមដែលសិក្សាតាមស្ដាប់តាម live ក៏អាចហ្នឹងហើយរំលឹកទាំងអស់គ្នាឡើងវិញនៅមេរៀនដែលយើងធ្លាប់សិក្សាកន្លងមកសម្រាប់មួយរយៈវែងជាង10ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងហើយសភៅរត់ចូលមេរៀនរត់ចូលសភៅអស់វិញហ្នឹងចិត្តចាប់មកកូនក្បាលនេះហើយបានអីខ្លះហើយរំលឹកឡើងវិញមករំលឹកពីដើមមកតាក់ទងនឹងធានបទខាងដើមយើងសិក្សាមានអីខ្លះ Buddhism What is Buddhism នេះខ្លះទៀតធានបទចំណងជើង The Buddha his teaching មានច្រើនណាសច្ចៈ4មានអីណា What is Buddhism រំលឹកឡើងវិញថាថ្មីណាថ្ងៃនេះដោយសារលោកអត់ទាន់មកជុំណាចំថ្ងៃគេសម្រាកយើងដាក់ថ្ងៃមុនហ្នឹងអត់ដឹងថាមានថ្ងៃបុណ្យថ្ងៃនេះចាំឲ្យទាំងអស់អង្គទាំងអស់គ្នាសាក់ចេញមតិហ្នឹងហើយចេញមតិអីសិតតែមានចំណេះដឹងជ្រៅជ្រះហើយហ្នឹងហើយសិក្សាជាភាសាខ្មែរសិក្សាភាសាខ្មែរបានច្រើនហើយឥឡូវយើងសាក់រំលឹកមេរៀនចាស់របស់យើងមករៀននិយាយជាអង់គ្លេសមកឲ្យវារដាស់មាត់បន្តិចហ្នឹងហើយតែរៀននិយាយទៅកុំខ្មាស់អៀនហ្នឹងហើយតែអត់រៀននិយាយយើងធ្វើមិនបញ្យល់ជនជាតិបានយល់បរទេសបានណាគិតហើយតិចទៀតសាកលបងហើយរំលឹកឡើងវិញយើងបានសិក្សាឲ្យខ្លះទៅលើវិធានបទទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងដូចជា Buddhism តើអ្វីទៅជាពុទ្ធសាសនាពេលយើងសិក្សាពីវិធានបទអ្វីទៅជាពុទ្ធសាសនាយើងអាចនឹកឃើញនៅខ្លឹមសារមួយចំនួនដែលបង្រៀនក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាតើគោលដៅអ្វីដែលព្រះពុទ្ធចង់ឲ្យយើងរៀនពីពាក្យថាពុទ្ធសាសនាហ្នឹងណាគិតតាមពាក្យហ្នឹងទៅយើងមានគំនិតបញ្យល់ហើយតែយើងអត់គិតអត់វិភាគពាក្យហ្នឹងទេយើងការពិបាករោចំណុចឬច្បាច់យកចំណុចណាមកបញ្យល់គេឲ្យគេយល់ថាពុទ្ធសាសនាគឺអញ្ចឹងគឺចំណុចហ្នឹងដែលហៅថាពុទ្ធសាសនាឬក៏ជាខ្លឹមសារនៃពុទ្ធសាសនាហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងយើងគិតពីពាក្យដើមប្រភពពាក្យណាពុទ្ធសាសនាហ្នឹងទៅព្រះអង្គគិតឃើញយ៉ាងម៉េចគិតទៅតិចទៀតខ្ញុំណាឲ្យវិចេញមតិអូខេសម្រាប់ពោចាហើយ The Buddha ពេលយើងនិយាយពាក្យថាពុទ្ធៈសំដៅលើអ្វីពុទ្ធៈហ្នឹងសំដៅលើអ្វីពុទ្ធៈខ្មែរយើងមិនដឹងថាបរទេសខ្លះគាត់យល់ដូចយើងឬអត់ទេណាសំបីកាលមុនកណាក៏អត់យល់ពាក្យពុទ្ធៈហ្នឹងច្បាស់ដែរតែមែនតែនទៅយើងនិយាយលើពុទ្ធយើងសំដៅទៅលើទៅសមណគោតមណាយើងសំដៅលើតួអង្គបុគ្គលតែយើងភ្លេចពីខ្លឹមសារទូទៅ general meaning ណាតួពុទ្ធៈពិតប្រកបហ្នឹងអីគេទេពុទ្ធៈប្រែថាម៉េចត្រាស់ដឹងណាតួពុទ្ធៈពិតប្រកបអីគេបញ្ញាតែយើងភាគច្រើនយើងជាប់តែបុគ្គលយើងជាប់តែមនុស្សណាយើងជាប់តែមនុស្សអញ្ចឹងពេលយើងបញ្យល់ពាក្យពុទ្ធៈយើងគួរនិយាយលើអ្វីណាតិចទៀតឲ្យសាកល្បង So we just review today because we haven't started our class for I think almost over 10 days
Yes.
over 10 days so kind of forgetting a lot right okay so I just try to remind all of you from what we have learned in this class especially concerning with the topics we have learned in this handbook like what is Buddhism so I'm gonna go through and let you explain by your own understanding from what you have learned in this class okay and then like the Buddha when we talk about the Buddha what does it mean by the Buddha who something like that okay and his teaching this is very essential about his teaching because there are so many topics to discuss in the teaching of the Buddha. So many topics, right? Yeah, so many topics. So let's try then. Okay, without further ado, let's try to give the meaning and explain according to your understanding of what you have learned. Chào đàm vì ông Pư nè riêng dạy cho ông lẽ năng cũng mà yên khóc trời ấy dân mình trên chết đau không cái nào có khóc trời là mình vô Buddhism according to your understanding. Lớp về sao cái này thật màu trời đấy trong ngày hôm nay.
What is Buddhism? To my understanding, I think Buddhism it come from two words like Buddha and Sasana. Some people they may know about Buddhism, but they judge or they think that Buddhism is a religion. But this is not mean that Buddhism is not a religion at all. But if we think about Buddhism, like I say, like Buddha and Sasana. Mean Buddha, it means one who has enlightenment, and Sasana means teaching or explain about the law or about the nature of laws. And to my understanding, Buddhism is talk about the ways of life that we have to face or have to present with our lives and understand the nature of laws. And Buddhism, some people may refer to Samana Kodam or to one who know about the nature or about wholesome, unwholesome. Yes, Buddhism, the Buddha. And his teaching, to my understanding, his teaching is very too many topics that talk about Dhammaca Kappavatana Sutta, like set in motion the way of the law. And in this, his teaching, he's talk about eightfold paths. Yes, the noble eightfold paths, like right understanding, right livelihood, and so many on. And I think his teaching is very clearly if someone try to understand about the way of life or try to understand to live with other people. And if we take this to apply for our lives, it is very important and it's very good for someone who want to life or he want to have to abandon from worldly person or worldly life. Yes, and try to understand our body is not it's just the name of we call, and our body, if we think it is very important, like our body, the Buddha say we don't have our body. It's just the name that we call, and it's not has I, me, yours, just the namatha. Yes, anatta, and that's all. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much for your sharing of very, very nice explanation. So we can understand that he have at least understood about some of the important points that has been taught in Buddhism, and that we should learn, especially the essence of what the Buddha taught. This is really a way of life. Okay, so start from you again. Okay, concerning with these three topics.
What are you asking me concerning this? What do you?
All the three. What do you know about?
What do I know about it?
Buddhism, the Buddha, and his teaching. Okay.
I would say that my understanding of Buddhism as been profoundly transformed since I began attending this class. That now I do see Buddhism as much more of a way of life than a system of belief or a religion in the classical sense of the term. I do think it's mostly about how to simply, you know, how to live a good life, how to live a virtuous life, a life of morality. The Buddha, as the Venerable said, means the enlightened one. And what do I know about him? I know about his early life in the city of Sakya, right?
In the kingdom of,
Yeah, the Sakya kingdom, right?
it's a lineage, actually. Sakya is a lineage, and the
Yeah.
kingdom is Devadaha in Lumpini.
Yes, in Lumpini, yes. And about his teaching, I know a lot more than I did about the Dhamma. Before I did not know anything, and now I know a little bit.
So what have you known?
I think really what is most important for me is the call to take care of yourself, and in Buddhism, to take care of yourself, to rely on yourself, to develop yourself, and first and foremost, it is a way to learn how to use your mind. How can you take the mind from being something that enslaves you and that dominates you, to be the one who dominates the mind and use your mind to do things that are good, instead of letting your mind boss you, command you around. That's all.
About his teaching,
His teaching.
what is the essence of his teaching, like what you have learned?
To me, the essence of his teaching is, well, of course I could say suffering, non-self, and impermanence, but I will just choose one of the three because the Venerable here already expounded on the non-self and explained it very well. I think the most important for me is impermanence. I think it's difficult, especially in a world where we have very powerful technology, where we can have everything almost at our fingertips, to accept the fact that some things cannot be taken, whether it is by technology or by any other means, that things have a beginning and an end, and that is the way things are. And if we try to fight against this, or if we misunderstand it, if we don't take it for ourselves, if we don't understand it as true, then we'll suffer much more than we will if we do accept that that is the way life is. And we should enjoy things that are happening in the moment, but we should not grieve over the moment that has passed, because there is no use for that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For your clear explanation on what you have understood from this class that I think you have just learned in this class, right? Yeah. Over 1 month, 44 days.
About Buddhism, I've learned in this class.
Yeah, but you seems to know a lot, like a 10-year study. Okay, Venerable. Share your experience and understanding about these topics.
From what I understand so far, according from what I have learned from the class, I think this word is not different. Different if we consider this can be the same root. Because, like for example, the word Buddhism. Buddhism come from the word Buddhi and ism. Yeah, Buddhi is referred to the wisdom or knowledge. Yeah, and ism refer to the system. The system of wisdom or knowledge. And also the Buddha. The Buddha refer to the person who rely or who knows about the Buddhi. Someone who have Buddhi, have wisdom. So it is just refer to the wisdom as well. And the wisdom here is referred to his teaching. Yeah, so his teaching is also wisdom. So all of these three only refer to the word wisdom. Yeah, so without wisdom, so how can we call it Buddhism? So only these three mean it's not different. We can contain only the word like Dhamma in here because the root of the Buddhism is Dhamma. Yeah, we don't cling on like Buddha or Sangha, but what we should know is the root of the foundation of the Buddhism is Dhamma. Yeah, because Dhamma, only the Dhamma is the main, yeah, the main point or the main foundation of everything in Buddhism. Yeah, and also the Dhamma or his teaching, the main point or the foundation of it is only three, like threefold training. Yeah, threefold training like morality, meditation, and wisdom. So if we consider only these three, so it covers everything. Yeah, everything in Buddhism. Yeah, like for example, like we do only these three, like we can follow the morality, the precept. I mean the precept mean like the rule or the law that if we follow it, mean for example like we don't kill other, so we respect it.
Yes.
Like we respect the law, so we don't break it, so we can live peacefully. Yeah, like many other rules, no killing, no telling lies, yeah, not misconduct with any other people, and don't drink alcohol, something like that. So it is like the law already. So when we follow this one, we already prevent some bad thing, bad karma to ourselves already, and also to other people as well. And another point is like meditation. Meditation is very important that every people should have it. Like for example, if we do meditation, so we calm ourselves, and also we don't cause any other harmful to everybody around. Yeah, we learn how to control our mind, and also we show our loving kindness to everybody, to the world. So when we have it, so we can consider that everyone can live peacefully. And plus the last one, wisdom. So when we have precept, morality, when we have meditation to calm ourselves, so combined with another last one mean wisdom, so we can see that Buddhism all mean talk about the ways of life. Yeah, the way of life, and not only the way of life, but the way to the happy life, the happiest life. Yeah, just in short. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your clear explanation concerning with Buddhism, the Buddha and his teaching. Actually, just like what he has mentioned, it is correlated, all these three topics. Yeah, it comes from the same root, right? Like Buddhi. Yeah, the knowledge or the wisdom, the word Buddhi. ណាភាសាខ្មែរយើង Buddhi គឺបញ្ញាឬក៏ចំណេះ ណាអញ្ចឹងកាលណាយើងសិក្សាតែពាក្យដើម root ឬក៏ប្រភពពាក្យហ្នឹងយើងយល់ថាពុទ្ធសាសនាទាំងមូលនិយាយតែរឿងតួបញ្ញាឯង បញ្ញាចំណេះដឹងបញ្ញាហ្នឹងគឺមាននៅក្នុងពធដែលព្រះអង្គសម្ដែងហ្នឹងគឺអ្វីដែលព្រះអង្គសម្ដែងចង់ឲ្យយើងយល់អំពីអំពីមេរៀនជីវិតតែយើងរៀនទៅយើងកើតបញ្ញា so we gain knowledge from what we have learned from the Buddha's teaching of wisdom. So from the same root, Buddha also from Buddha, which means enlighten. Enlighten of what? Enlighten of wisdom of what he have researched, of what he has experienced throughout his practice over 6 years. And then his teaching, what he have taught, what he have experienced, he taught us. He taught all the people in order to realize what is the true nature of life, what the essence of life, and what should be abandoned and what should be cultivated. Yeah, okay. So Yeah, why not? This is also the essence in his teaching. So you can talk about that later. Now it will come to you soon. Okay. Sister. Okay. Share what you have understood because you learn a lot in the Cambodian language. Now try to speak in English.
Try
as
to
much as you
speak in
can.
English.
Maybe both. Okay. Half. Okay. Learn.
Oh, I don't know how to speak, but I will try to speak, right? Okay. What is Buddhism? What is Buddha? And what is his teaching?
If you want to speak in English, maybe I can translate to Khmer.
You can translate to Khmer.
Okay, you speak both. Okay, try.
No, good, right.
Very good.
Good. Maybe you are the listener, my listener, right? Buddhism. Some people can say that Buddhism is religion, one of religion in the world. They can say like this. But in that religion, we can see the difference of Buddhism. What is that? That is only the same religion with the other or not? And what is the specially in the Buddhism? What is the specialist one? What is that? And what we can gain from studying this. So we found that Buddhism talk about or tell about the reality of life, that Buddha try to taught us that what is life, that's the happiness life or suffering life. This life we should attach ourselves to this life or not, or we should abandon this life. And how can we abandon this life? We try anyway, and that way correct or not, like this Buddha can tell. Buddha is the one who has enlightenment for good knowledge, for the best knowledge. He can discover. He discovered the way to get out of suffering. He tried to tell us that this life, from the born to until die, this life is very suffering. But we don't think that suffering. We say, in our understanding, we say that the life is happiness. You see, we can live happiness. We can have a family, and then we can go to anywhere happily together like this. And you think that this life is happiness, but in Buddhism say that the life is suffering, not happiness. So his teaching, all his teaching will show that this life, happiness or suffering. And with your wisdom, you can consider that, our life, happiness or suffering as he taught or not, like this. We can understand, compare with our life, not only his teaching, not only his tale, not only his word, but our understanding, our experience, and our wisdom. And then we can think that what Buddha teach is our life. He tried to give advantage to us to get out of the suffering life, like this. That's all for his teaching, that tell all being to get out of this rebirth cycle. The rebirth cycle, nobody say about rebirth cycle is suffering, but only Buddhism say, only Buddha say that the rebirth cycle is suffering. So,
think that rebirth is suffering.
Yeah.
But Buddhism say both types of suffering.
Yeah. rebirth is suffering, and then we should to abandon this life and try the way to find out to cease the five of aggregate to get in Nibbana, and then end of suffering, end of all suffering. That's the best of teaching of Buddhism again. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for Sister Indama that she has explained very well related to the topics of what is Buddhism, the Buddha and his teaching. And especially it touches my heart when she talk about only Buddhism says that the cycle of rebirth or the samsara, which is the real suffering, because again and again we come into rebirth and then we experience this suffering, many kinds of suffering that we face due to what we have is the five aggregate, which is the cause of suffering. And adding to that is the clinging over what we have, clinging over the five aggregate that we have already endowed with. Then it even adding more to a suffering when we have more attachment towards that. So by realizing that the real cause of suffering come from the rebirth, right? Birth. So if we can find a way to eliminate, to end, or try not to create a seed that will plant a rebirth, that will be best. That will be the best way to get rid of complete suffering. To attain nirvana means to get rid of complete suffering, and then we can get the complete freedom from suffering only when we have eradicated the root cause of real suffering. So what is the real cause of suffering? In the second noble truth, the origin or the source of suffering is danaha, attachment, craving, and then clinging upadana in the way of Padeccasamuppada, dependent origination that we have learned. The root cause of the samsara, of the round of rebirth, the round of suffering, again and again we come into rebirth and then die, reborn, die and reborn. Endless life, endless cycle of rebirth are the two roots, that is avijja, ignorance, and danaha, attachment, which is the real roots that condition new existences, countless existences. Okay? So coming to next to another sister, let you say on what you have understood about these topics. Okay.
Very good evening to all venerable master and brother and sister. Would like to answer all venerable teacher asking about Buddhism. What is Buddhism? From I have learned from all of you, and I have learned some of video online, that Buddhism is kind about the religions of wisdom or system of wisdom. So the wisdom, the more you gain our wisdom or knowledge, the more you know how to abandon all the suffering or the cause of suffering. So when you know how to end or how to stop the ways or the cause of suffering, so it leading us to be the happiness life. So what is the Buddha? The Buddha is the one who got completely enlightenment. So the Buddha is only focused on, he is the worldly people like us, but about the enlightenment is focused on the wisdom only. And about his teaching, so Buddhism, we also can say that from about the Buddha teaching, it's not like another religion that it according to God or to blind faith. I can see it. I can, because I found it like blind faith, like that another.
Maybe a superstitious belief.
Yeah, but the Buddha, he only show us about the truth of nature only, and his teaching is about the Four Noble Truths. The first one is the truth of suffering, like we know already about the birth, the death, ill or get sick, something like that, and so more. And the second one is the cause of suffering, from, like you already said about the tanaha. Yeah. And the third one is the cause of cessation of suffering.
The cessation of suffering.
Yep, cessation. Yep, cessation of suffering. And the last one, the fourth, is the way of leading to cessation of suffering. So, like in the Eightfold Path, like the first one is right understanding, and so more on. Or we can say morality, meditation, or wisdom. And I think that another his teaching also about the first one, not to do bad action or in any evil deed, and the second one, do good deed. The last one, purify one own mind. So the last one is very special or very important because of from all the defilement, like lopha, attachment and greed, delusion, like that, bring us more suffering. So the more we purify, the more we gain the wisdom, and the more happiness you are. That's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your well explanation, all of you, that you have touched on the important points from your own experience, from your own understanding of what Buddhism really is. So, okay, let us put words into letters in order to share more with other people who also study online, that we have reviewed from the lessons we have learned in this whole class of 44 days. Today is the 45 days of our class. Okay, so we have just come not so far, not long ago, just 44 days ago, but it seems like all of you gain a lot of understanding about knowledge in Buddhism, especially Mr. from France.
I started with zero, so...
Yeah, you're starting with from zero, as you said, but for Cambodian students, they have learned in Khmer language, but to some extent that they cannot explain in English. But now we can see that they have improved a lot. You all have improved a lot. At least you can use the correct actual terminology to express the teachings of the Buddha, like the word suffering, impermanence, non-self, or enlightenment, you know. So it makes me happy because I you know, by hearing that you have improved, at least you can catch some of the important points which I have taught. So, okay, let us review overall. From all what you have said just now, Buddhism, as you know, that come from this word, right? Buddhi, which means wisdom or knowledge. Okay, and then plus zam, right? Like the suffix of English become Buddhism. So this is the root word, refers to wisdom. From this word we understand very clear that it is nothing related to belief, not a system of belief, right? Buddhism is not a system of belief, but rather a system of what? Knowledge, a system of wisdom, a system of philosophy, a way of conveying knowledge, right? So when we talk about the Buddha, it is also similarly originated from the same root, which is Buddha. Bud, which means enlightened. I think it's a verb to enlighten. Is it a word like this? Enlight, right? Enlight or enlighten? Yes, awaken. So similarly, from the same root, which refer to wisdom or knowledge, and teaching, the same word. The teaching here in Pali, we use the word Dhamma, right? In Sanskrit, it's Dharma. So it comes from the root of Dhara. ខ្មែរយើងធរៈធាតុណាធម្មៈធរៈ to uphold or to prevent one from falling down to the woeful states ណាគឺត្រោត្រង់ពាក្យថាធរមកពីធរៈធាតុប្រែថាត្រោត្រង់នេះជាសភាវៈធរគឺជាសភាវៈដែលត្រោត្រង់នៅសត្វមិនឲ្យធ្លាក់ចុះទៅអបាយភូមិណា So Dhamma means a state which upholds or prevents all beings from falling down to woeful state, to suffering world. Okay, this is just the root. So in the sense, I think it is correlated one another from this topic that we can come to conclusion that what is really taught in Buddhism is about what? Wisdom. In Pali, Panya. ហ្នឹងហើយចឹងឲ្យញាតិញោមទាំងអស់យល់ឲ្យច្បាស់ណាក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាសំខាន់ណាគឺបញ្ញាណាហើយយើងច្រើនតែផ្លេចតួហ្នឹងតួអង្គសំខាន់នៅក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាហ្នឹងណាដល់អញ្ចឹងទៅបានជាយើងគោរពនេះគោរពនោះយូរៗទៅផ្លេចទាំងព្រះទៀតហើយបើថារៀនធម៌យូរៗទៅជាប់ត្រឹមគ្រូផ្លេចគ្រូដើមហើយគ្រូនេះទេសនាបរោះគ្រូនេះបរៀនល្អណាគ្រូនេះវោហាល្អអញ្ចឹងណាយូរទៅជាប់ត្រឹមបុគ្គលទៀតសំបីតែប្រពុតតួអង្គប្រពុតផ្ទាល់លោកអត់ឲ្យជាប់ជាមួយលោកទៀតណាអញ្ចឹងហើយបានយើងបើសិនជាយើងរៀនតែធម៌ប្រពុតប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយយើងជាប់ជាមួយនឹងបុគ្គលទៀតព្រះអង្គថាអត់ទេទៅឲ្យហួសហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងបន្តួអង្គប្រពុតពិតប្រកបនេះគឺសំដៅលើសភាវៈនៃចិត្តដែលរួចស្រឡះហើយគឺសំដៅដល់បញ្ញាហ្នឹងឯងណាចិត្តរបស់លោកបានរួចស្រឡះណាបានដល់នៅសភាវៈមួយដែលលែងកម្រើកញាប់ញ័រជាមួយនឹងលោកធម៌ពាល់លែងត្រូវណាលោកបានអប់រំចិត្តដល់កំពូលលោក He has developed the mind up to the level that it is unshakable by any forces, especially the eight worldly dhammas, which is suffering or happiness, which is praise or blame, which is gain or not gain, which is what was another one? Sok tok, min liep or liep, min yuh or yuh, and Sasanantiya, buồn. Okay, so these are eight worldly dhamma, which is commonly faces and experiences by our daily life. So even Arahanta, like the Buddha himself, when he was living in his lifetime also, he also faced such eight worldly dhammas because it is normal, it is common to any living beings, right, which exist in this universe. But his mind is not shakable by those. But for the normal mind of ours, which has not been educated or developed, is still being shaken, right? Being shaken by those forces. For example, when people praise, oh, you are nice, you are good, you are wise, you are clever, you are handsome, we're still happy, right? We're still attached to the words. And then when people blame, you are bad, like that, then we become what? We don't like to hear it, right? Maybe we get angry, or maybe we beat others by saying so, you know. So this is how the mind, which is not well developed, which is not well educated, will bring nothing but suffering, sorrow, right? Suffering. The mind which is well developed, which is well educated, will bring nothing but happiness and a happy life. So this is very important point in Buddhism overall, and what you have discussed so far, that the essence of Buddhism lies in the teachings of the Buddha, which we can come to the main topic like Four Noble Truths. Okay, let me erase this.លោកធម្ម8មិញណា Eight verily Dhamma ឬក៏ state eight verily state មានន័យថាអាហ្នឹងវានៅក្នុងពិភពលោកហ្នឹងវាយើងរស់នៅសពថ្ងៃត្រូវតែជួបអញ្ចឹងណាដល់ភាសាបាលីលោកៈហ្នឹង world ដដែលឃើញទេលោកធម៌លោកៈ Dhamma. This is a Pali word លោកៈ Dhamma. 8 Loka Dhamma. Okay, one pair. Okay, altogether 4 couples, 4 pairs of, okay, Sok Tok na, suffering and what? Happiness. Sok Tok អីទៀត និន្ទាសរសើរណា blame and praise. អីទៀតសុខទុក្ខនិន្ទាសរសើរមានលៀបអត់លៀប gain. How to say this word? Not gain.
Pain.
Right? Yeah, gain loss. Okay, yes. Okay, right. Gain loss. And then
It would be better to put
Try
loss and gain because you have all the negative.
oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Here is negative point. Loss នឹងជា noun. Okay. Loss and gain. បាត់បង់ការបាត់បង់ហ្នឹងឯងមានលៀបអត់លៀបមានយុះមានយុះអត់យុះអីគេអត់ទេអានោះជាកិរិយាសព្ទនេះជា noun ហ្នឹងឯងបងសុខទុក្ខនិន្ទាសរសើរមានលៀបអត់លៀបមានយុះអត់យុះ fame and
Anonymousness. Shame. What is the opposite of being famous? Being,
like dignity.
You mean negative fame? Or you mean not being
Yeah,
known?
the negative, and the negative here is positive.
No, but there are two things that you could say are the opposite. You could say either the opposite of fame is no one knows you, or the opposite of fame is being famous but for something bad, like a criminal. And in that case, it would be infame.
Infame.
Yeah. Infamous or infamousness. It depends what you want to say. If you want to know that someone no one knows, or someone who is known.
Yes, like we attach to popularity, to the fame, to the dignity, right? But when people are, not upholding or appreciate our fame or popularity, so we become angry, or we face suffering when we lose this. So what's the opposite side to say? Which is the better word to use? Okay, let's say infame.
Or infamousness would be the objective.
Shamelessness.
Infamousness.
What?
O-U-S, infame, like I-N-F-A-M, and then O-U-S-N-E-S-S.
Infamelessness, right?
Infamousness.
Okay. Today I learn new word from you. Okay, thank you. Let's say that I will check again. On internet also you can get.
It's not. I will choose. I think it's like this.
Infamousness.
Famous. In.
Okay, I got it.
In means not
Okay.
means the opposite.
Okay.
And then like second.
Okay, thank you. Infamousness. Okay. Ok ហ្នឹងហើយមិញថាបញ្យលធម៌ឥឡូវចូលដល់លោកធម៌ឥឡូវកត់សិនណាយើងចូលតួធម៌យើងវិញមិញពុទ្ធសាសនាអូខេពាក្យធម្មតាហ្នឹងមានអីហ្នឹងហើយឲ្យតែយើងយល់ concept ខ្មែរយើងទៅយល់ហើយសុខទុក្ខនិន្ទារសាមានលៀបអត់លៀបមានយុះអត់យុះហ្នឹងហើយ so this is the worldly states that we face in our daily life and normally our mind is being shaken when facing these experiences whether suffering or happiness, right? So it is not balanced when facing this. Some people when they develop meditation more and more and they enjoy the calmness or peacefulness of the mind for temporarily, but they misunderstand that maybe the root of evil mind has come to an end. But when facing this, they will understand. They will be clear that whether the mind still react blindly to those external forces or not. You know, sometimes we may claim that okay, I am very calm, I am very peaceful. But when facing such experience, you will be clear by yourself that whether your mind is shakeable or unshakable. When suffering with suffering or happiness, you know, when facing with blame or praise, you know. Okay, anyway, let's come to our topic.
Very interesting.
ម៉ោងប្រហែលទេម៉ោងប៉ុន្មាន 59 Okay ចិត្តដល់ឥឡូវយើង conclude ហ្មង Okay so from what you have shared so far we have talked about Buddhism which refer to wisdom first of all okay and then the essence of the Buddha's teaching like four noble truths okay like four truths okay just write in short like noble eightfold path okay okay for the eight part like shortly three training factors morality or moral conduct sila okay សេបល័យមិនទៅ sila សមាធិបញ្ញាចូលបញ្ញាដដែលមេទៀត មានទិសដីទៀតណាទិសដី gamma ណាមានទិសដីទៀតបដិច្ចសមុប្បាទ dependent origination មានទៀតណាមកកោកឬក៏នៅក្នុងណាពាក្យមួយទៀតអវាទរបស់ពុទ្ធគ្រប់ព្រះអង្គណា this is the teachings of all the Buddha មាន 3 ចំណុច so the Buddha's teachings in short we can categorize into 3 phrases shortly into 3 phrases one is not to do any bad not to do any evil secondly to do only good and thirdly to purify one's mind. So not to do any evil is in the sila. Also to do only good also in the sila. Right? Because sila or the precept like 5 precepts as you have learned that by volitionally intentionally refrain from doing bad and perform only good. We have two types of sila. One is to abandon and one is to perform, right? Varita is to avoid or abandon, and charita sila is to develop. Sill langមួយ sill ចេតនាជាតួលះមួយទៀតគួរដល់ការសមាទានកាន់យកចម្រើនហ្នឹងហើយ and then សមាធិ to purify one's mind សម្អាតចិត្តដើម្បីសម្អាតចិត្តរបស់យើងឲ្យបរិសុទ្ធផូរផង់គឺការអប់រំចិត្តមានតែការអប់រំចិត្តនឹងឯងទៅអាចពុតចិត្តរបស់យើងបាន សិលបានគ្រាន់តែជួយដល់ការសង្រួមនៅឥន្ទ្រីទាំង 6 ជាពិសេសគឺកាយនិងវាចា so this is very helpful for both body and speech for the restraining of body and speech, but for the mind sila alone cannot be helpful enough. We have to develop further, go to the stage of mental development, right? Samadhi, mental cultivation, which can liberate our mind or become the master of our own mind. Normally, when the mind is not developed, we are the slave of our mind, right? But when the mind is developed, we can control, we can put the mind in our control, be the master of ourselves. This is the teachings of the Buddha when he say Buddhism is a way of self-reliance. You can rely on yourself only when you have wisdom, only when you have knowledge of right understanding. Without right understanding, without wisdom, how can you be your self-reliance? How can you be your own refuge? Even he recommend that taking refuge in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, in the Sangha, but it doesn't mean that all the time we have to depend on the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. We just take them as a good example to remind us of his purity, of his good deed, of his wisdom, of his loving kindness. But we have to try by ourselves in order to liberate ourselves from suffering. This is the duty and obligation of ours, not others. None or no one can liberate us from suffering. This is a way of self-reliance that the Buddha taught. We ourselves have to walk to reach the destination by ourselves. The Buddha is only a teacher. He is only a guide who show us the way, which is the right way to reach that right destination. But if we don't walk right on that path, we can never reach that destination. So remember when he said that, be your own refuge or be your own self-reliance, he refers that we have to liberate ourselves from suffering, our own suffering, not other suffering. Others also, other people also, they have their own suffering to be liberated. So how can they have time in order to help us liberate from our own suffering? So each and every person have to walk by themselves in order to gain a happy life. This is not a duty of external forces, not the duty of any person, not the duty of any God, but the duty of ourself, right? So suffering or happiness is a matter of oneself, not others. Normally we may cause or blame others for causing us to be unhappy or to be in suffering. But we never look inside that we are also the cause of this suffering, of our suffering. Only if we guard our senses not to misuse our six senses by not reacting blindly to what we see, to what we hear, to what we smell, to what we taste, to what we touch, to what we think, only then our mind is well guarded, right? We do not open the doors for the evil or unwholesome state of the mind to exist, to enter in our mind door. So we are happy, right? When the unwholesome state of the mind does not take place in our mind door. So this is how we can practice in order to live a happy life, this very life. this very existence, not waiting for the next existence, right? Okay, so far I think these are some of the main essence of the Buddha's teaching that we have learned in this class. There are still more other topics that we haven't learned, but I think they're so much related, even in the essence of the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, which is Sila, Samadhi and Panya. It already touched very important point of how to develop our life in terms of Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist way of life, right? So this is morality, precept, samadhi, meditation, or maybe samatha or vipassana, and then panya are to be developed. And beside that, to be abandoned, like evil deed, any evil, any bad action have to be refrained, right? Okay, now you can see that even though we say Buddhism is a religion, only when we refer to one of the religions in the world today that they are undertaking or believe in. So only then they may say, okay, let's say Buddhism is the one of the peace religion in the world. Yeah, you can say. But in the sense that we learning into the real essence of what the Buddha taught, we should not translate or termed Buddhism as a religion at all, because it is not a way of worship or a way of, like binding to Creator God, but rather the Buddha show us the way of self-reliance, having yourself as your own refuge by developing your wisdom. This is real Buddhism, by developing your wisdom. ចឹងដើម្បីចម្រើនបញ្ញាយើងមានវិធីច្រើនទេណានៅក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាគឺនិយាយតួបញ្ញាដែលសំខាន់ណាចឹងយើងមានបញ្ញាថ្នាក់សុតៈណាសុតមយៈបញ្ញាការរៀនសូត្រការសិក្សាការស្ដាប់ច្រើននេះគឺជាប្រភពនៃនាំឲ្យកើតបញ្ញាហើយទី2គឺចិន្តាមយៈបញ្ញា thinking by considering reflecting upon ណាដោយការរលឹកដោយការពិចារណារឿយៗទៅគិតទៅកើតបញ្ញាកើតចំណេះឃើញទេទី3គឺភាវនាមយៈបញ្ញាបាវនាមយៈបញ្ញាគឺបញ្ញាដែលកើតឡើងពីការអប់រំចិត្តពីការពិសោធន៍នៅក្នុងចិត្តណាពិសោធន៍ចិត្តឲ្យឃើញថាសភាវៈចិត្តហ្នឹងវាយ៉ាងម៉េចណាវាត្រាច់ទៅវាអន្ទោលវាលឿនវាហក់ហើរវាឆ្វេងឆ្វាយយ៉ាងម៉េចណា so this is the real point in Buddhism that we have to consider and take into application in our daily life, learning each and every day to develop our wisdom by learning, by thinking or considering, or by mental development, meditation or vipassana. Okay, I hope that when you have time, all of you try to go for meditation courses, meditation practice. By just sharing you the ideas alone is not enough, right? You have to experience that by yourself. Only then actual wisdom can occur within yourself. By listening to me, now the knowledge you gain is just from me, but not from yourself. But when you practice, you develop the bhavana or bhavana maya panya, only then you experience your own understanding. You find understanding within yourself. Just like when we want to find the Dhamma, nowhere else but within ourselves, right? Bad or good, suffering or happiness is within ourselves. Do not seek it elsewhere. Peace comes from the mind. Do not seek it elsewhere, because mind is the foundation, right? Mind is the foundation of being happy or unhappy due to our mind, which is trained or untrained, right? So mind is the forerunner of all the mental state, of all the state. So this is very important when we talk in the concept of Buddhism is to develop our mind, Panya. So Panya also is a part or exists in the mind, right, in the mental state. So we have to develop it. Only then we can become or live a happier and happier life, and which at the end can lead to full liberation from suffering with this Panya. So far that we have talked is nothing related to, you know, system of faith or belief or superstitious belief or maybe blind faith, but there of course that's so many, or I can say that some Buddhists, especially in Cambodia, we still practicing or misunderstand or may not have not yet understood correctly of what the Buddha taught. So they just, you know, perform this and that, or some maybe rites and ritual. It is not purely a Buddhist tradition, but by a mixture of culture that has been influenced from, you know, long time ago, maybe from India, from China, you know. But what we have studied in this class is the essence of the real teachings of the Buddha. Okay, so I hope that all of you will put this practice, you know, into your daily life in order to gain a happy life. Okay, any questions so far? មានសំណួរទេព្រោះយើងដល់ម៉ោង Tomorrow we will start a new topic, Nibbana, which will be very interesting and very insights, very deep to learn, because all of us never experience it. We can only study the theory, but it's not an actual experience. So hope we can discuss more tomorrow concerning with Nibbana, which is the ultimate goal of Buddhism. Oh, defame. Yeah, maybe defame is a good word. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Nè, bộពាក្យ ដឹងចេះ ប៉ុន្តែ ផ្លិច ហ្នឹងហើយ so គាត់ចង់និយាយ ពាក្យ កន្លែង និន្ទាសើ ហ្នឹង ហ្នឹងហើយ defame ហ្នឹង គឺ ណា អាប់យុះ ឬ មានយុះ ហ្នឹង defame. Okay, I used to know this word, but we forget.
I think you should, I don't think this is a verb, it's not a noun.
This is noun, defame.
It's not a noun, it's a verb.
So how to say noun? Let's check.
Defamation is not, it's a good preposition, but it's a verb, defame.
Okay, check more, okay?
You can check dictionary.
Okay.
It's very good.
Defamation.
Very good idea.
Noun, okay, defamation. Okay, defamation.
Defamation, but defamation is a legal concept.
Oh, តិចនេះ ពាក្យ defamation តិច ប្រែ ផ្សេង
The verb, yeah? Defame verb.
អូ
Defamation.
អានេះមិនមែនបង្ខូចគេឈ្មោះទេណា defamation
Defamation is not.
Oh, okay, I think ill fame.
Defamation is.
Maybe this ill fame, I used to see this word.
Yeah.
Ill fame and fame. Okay, let's say this word, ill fame.
But this one, yeah, we don't. I guess you don't see it used a lot. But
Ill fame, né? Okay, this ill fame I used to see in the book. Okay.
defame is to say something that is not.
Yeah, that's why I think that defamation is kind of in the law concept.
For example, I say,
Yeah.
oh, I see someone do a crime, and it's not true. That is defamation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. ហ្នឹងដូចបរិហាគេបង្កាច់អញ្ចឹងពាក្យ ill fame នេះត្រូវជាងណាអានេះមានលៀបមកមានយុះអត់យុះអានេះវារបៀបដូចថាត្រូវហើយចង់និយាយថាពាក្យអង់គ្លេសដែលយើងប្រើ defamation ហ្នឹងវាទៅពាក្យផ្សេងអានេះអត់យុះដូចថាគេអត់សរសើរគេអត់អីចឹងខឹងគេចឹងណាអត់យុះអត់មានលៀបដល់ពេលថាយើងមានកិត្តិយសអីចឹងយើងក៏ជាប់ចម្ពាក់ទៅយើងសប្បាយទៅយើងជាប់ទៅដល់ពេលយើងវាអត់មានយុះអត់មានអីក៏យើងទៅជាអន់ចិត្តគេមិនលើកគេមិនដំកើងអីចឹងណាអានោះលោកធម៌យើងតែងជួបប្រទះអញ្ចឹងរហូតណានេះគាត់ថាយើងសិក្សាពីពាក្យអង់គ្លេសចង់និយាយថាប្រើពាក្យណាហ្នឹងហើយត្រូវហើយពាក្យ ill ហ្នឹងហើយ
Yeah.
បើនៅពាក្យ defame ក៏អត់ត្រូវដល់ឆែកមើលតិចហ្នឹងណាអូខេឥឡូវចាំស្អែកចាំគណៈឆែកមើលព្រោះអត់បានស្រាវជ្រាវមកបរិញ្ញាហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងទៅអត់ច្បាស់ពាក្យប្រើណាអូខេ tomorrow
Oh yeah, famous for something considered bad is infamous.
infame អាហ្នឹងអាក្រក់ហ្នឹងហើយ
It means famous for some. For example, Hitler.
អានោះ famous ដូច
Infamous. You can say Pol Pot.
I know this
infamous.
word but it's not in that sense
Yeah.
it's not អានេះគឺសំដៅលើគេឈ្មោះអាក្រក់វាអត់ត្រូវទេមែនទេ
តែនេះសិស្សអនឡាញគាត់ថាតាមគាត់រៀនគាត់ឃើញគេទៅ say defame and fame
defame អូខេហ្នឹងហើយឥឡូវចាំស្អែកចាំស្រាវជ្រាវមកអូខេអូខេហ្នឹងហើយចាំស្អែកចាំមកមើលហ្នឹងណាអញ្ចឹងបងបិទ live ដល់